Patrick Laing with Certainty Management. Been talking about some of the experiences and lessons that I've gained and that I gained while serving in the U.S. Army from 1986 to 1995. Hard to believe it's been that long ago. I've been out much longer than I was in. But um, this week I've talked about the people I met. I've talked about some of the lessons I learned about teamwork and camaraderie, about being impressed by the organization and the discipline that is exhibited in the military that I gained from my time in the military. I talked about purpose and just how important it is to incorporate some sort of purpose into your work, whatever you do. Maybe that's outside service. Maybe it's changing how you do business or being able to give back in ways through your service, through your work. Whatever it is, I think it's really valuable and really important to incorporate into what you do. As I look at my time in the military and other things and experiences I've had throughout my life, some of the most extraordinary experiences I had were when I was serving others. I actually served as a service missionary for my church for 2 years in central Italy, and it was two of the best years of my life. Anyone I think that does ministry work or service work, military, many of them will say the same thing, and I have a theory about why that is. See, for most of us, we spend most of our life focused on our work, our school, our friends, our interests, etc. But when, for a period of time, whether it's long or short, if you can stop and take the time to focus outward and focus on others, it is an experience that can literally change you permanently. It can change you for good. I experienced that as a missionary. I experienced that in the Army. I experienced that as a father. It is a truly fundamentally life-changing experience. And so how do we get more of that? How do we experience that more in our life and in our work? I'm a firm believer that first and foremost, we should seek opportunities to give service. I think of it almost like a tithe of our time. We have 50 hours a week. Are we spending some of those, maybe 4 or 5 hours, actually giving back? That might be coaching a local soccer team, or spending some time at a soup kitchen, or just helping a neighbor who's moving in, helping them unload their furniture from their moving shop. Good way to build friendship with your new neighbor and a good way to give back. When you do these things, and especially if you can incorporate it into your work, where most of us spend most of our time, but if you can do those things, it's an experience that you won't regret. I remember a story of two guys who were helping. One of them had been trying to invite his friend to church. He tried to talk to him several times about church, and so his friend just wasn't interested. But then he invited his friend to come help him one day to move this old refrigerator from the basement of this little old lady that was in his congregation. And it was a tough job. Not only was it heavy, and it was this old steel refrigerator way down in the basement, and it was a hot day, and it was sweaty out in Maryland, I believe. And the fridge had an old case of grapefruit in the bottom of it that was rotten, so it was dripping on them and everything. So it was just this miserable 2 hour event. Right? Getting it up around the corner, I had to take the railing off, and it finally got it to the top of the stairs. And they got a drink, and they rubbed their foreheads. And his friend said, "Okay," he says, "tell me about your church." And this other gentleman said, "This is it. This is what it's about." And his friend said, "I would love to do this any other time you ask." It's a great reminder of the value of service, the strength and the life altering experience that it is to serve others. That's my tip for the day. It's a great, I think, a great lesson to end on with our talk about the military and my service in the Army and the things I learned. Great reminder of, I think, whether we're in the military or not, whether we served or not, it's a great reminder of what we can do to incorporate and instill greater meaning, greater certainty, and greater purpose in our own lives. And that when we give back, it comes back to us many times over. This is a lesson I've learned many times in my life. I'm sorry to go a little bit long today, but it's an important lesson. And if you want more certainty in your life, one of the very best ways to find it. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next week.